Hello and welcome to the Bold Business Podcast Show. This is Ros Jones, and today I'm delighted to be joined by my great friend Amber, who is a holistic counsellor and healer and also the author of Prince Edac and the Snail. Hello, Amber.
Hello, Ros.
It's so wonderful to have you here. We've known each other for years now, and I've finally managed to get you onto my podcast show. So thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. So, Amber, this book, Prince Edac and the Snail, which is a fabulous book. People go and buy it. And the drawings are a delight. And it's written actually in Amber's name, Amberlina P. You'll find it under. But before we talk more about how to get the book, Amber, how did you come across this idea? How long did it take you to write it? And what's been the inspiration for you? Because I know it's been a while. One of the themes of this podcast is about self-leadership, taking ownership of our lives and our business. So, tell me more. Over to you.
Well, I actually homeschooled my kids. So the story itself came about by an arting day, and a little snail came into the house somehow, climbed up on the table, and my son, Cade, who is Prince Edac, put out his hand, and we were like, wow, what an interesting snail, which led to this story. And from my counseling background, it was just like important, ways that we are with people that, or ourselves, like being ourselves and how we can just make friends by extending one's hand. It's sort of, the theme is like about loving, accepting who you are, because we just are who we are. We are how we're born, accepting yourselves and others. And maybe not everyone fits into a box, but what even is the box? And who made the box? Is there even a box? And that was the inspiration. I really always have enjoyed writing and journaling. I'm not really an artist myself, but I love to paint, draw. So the journey was, I ended up having to draw it myself, which is what took the longest part. And that was really challenging and interesting to watch myself in my own blockages that I put up, or procrastinations, or that kind of thing, and then to finally do it and have to learn a whole new way of learning digital art and using something called Procreate, and how to layer and how to just utilize all the tools in there. And you'd pick one, and then there'd be another selection of 20 things, and then another. And I was just so excited, like, oh my God, this and this and this.
Going down that rabbit hole.
Oh, absolutely. And then I'd forget what I'd used. Anyway, the big journey. I think I'm too simple for this kind of thing. So I don't know that I'll draw another one, because my inner artist is also about 7 years old, which you'll notice in the art.
So go back to the genesis of the book, though. So how old was Cade when this happened?
Cade was 6.
And did you get an instant inspiration to write a book from it?
Absolutely. Well, a story. Yeah. We just immediately drew out a story, because the kids and I we just sort of made it up about him. Like, oh, wow, what a snail. And
oh, right. So you instantly actually wrote this.
Yeah.
You made the story up.
Yeah. Right then and there. Yeah.
So what made you make it into a book?
I guess the idea that, well, I just love writing. And then with homeschooling my kids, as I say, or with anyone, it's like we sort of have to learn to walk our talk. And I always told my kids, you can do anything you put your mind to. So I sort of had to go, I need to do it too. And I thought, well, what do I have to lose? So again, that was a whole new journey. How do you publish a book? How do you find anything? I ended up self-publishing. And we just happened to have a little bit of extra funding. So I thought, if I pay for it now, for sure, I'll get it done. It took 16 years, yeah.
16 years?
No, maybe longer. Kate's 20, just turned 25. So yeah, quite. My trail is meandering.
Your trail has meandered. I love that. I love that whole story. So just through procrastination and whatever other blocks you put up.
Yeah, lots of life things. So I had I didn't believe in myself that I could draw it. I had my little sketches that I did, and different artists over the years that, I'll do it. And then obviously things happened in their own lives. So, and then it just got to a point, actually, the publishing company said about nearly 10 years later, your book's actually approved to be done. So I ended up I thought, okay, I've got to do it myself now. I've got to I can do it. I can do it. So started drawing it out, and that's sort of what it came to. But I think I had to restart it probably 2 or 3 times, basically the same kind of drawings. But once I learned how to use this program, so I did the drawings, scanned them, uploaded them. That's how that worked. But yeah, watching my blocks and sort of asking, like, in my meditations or praying, just like, please just show me a clear and obvious path. What do I need to do now? And I'd, like, put my key in my house door and there's a snail right there, eye level. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
okay. I open my bedroom window on the 3rd floor and there's a snail there. And the snail trails everywhere. And I'm just like, okay, I'll do it. But it was really interesting, even as a counselor, just watching myself find something else to do, anything else to do, or what was the fear? Was it fear? What was the fear? It was, yeah, it was a really interesting journey, and I sure got mad at myself a lot, and then I laughed at myself a lot because every time I sat down, it was so fun, and I just absolutely loved it. I just had so much fun doing it. I'm like, why?
Isn't that interesting, though? That something that actually turns out to be fun and lovely to do, we put off doing?
Yeah,
What's that about?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think in life, how many times is it a subconscious thing? Is it being shown that vulnerability? Is it yeah, I'm actually was withholding myself from joy.
Yeah.
With my messages about joy and love and acceptance and, learning, like, give it to myself as well. I think we often don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think, is this a human thing? Because, you are from Canada. Have you noticed it's more prevalent in the UK, or is it just a thing with human beings?
I would say it's a human condition. A little bit of, everything is a process, is our personal process, business process is like an onion. There's layers and layers of things that come up. Obviously, I had other things going on in my life, went through a divorce and just, COVID went on and all these other external factors. So I think, well, that's sort of going back to your question, I think it's a human thing, a human condition. And I guess maybe different personalities are more like that, very dependent
Yeah.
on our context. Some people are just like doers. And I love that about, it's like, I need to be inspired by people like that. If it was someone else, I would go to the ends of the earth. But it's like, why do we stop ourselves sometimes? So I do
Yeah.
think it's a human condition to overcome and stand in your fear, that uncomfortable space of not knowing.
Yeah. And the whole thing about self-leadership, it just fascinates me. So this thing about taking ownership, because it's so easy for us, isn't it, to come up with reasons and excuses for not doing things. They're all valid reasons, obviously. We've never got enough time. It's
Yeah.
not that we don't want to do it. There's all valid reasons. But that just seems to me to be the way we are, that's what we default to. So the idea of actually taking ownership and accept that it's in our power to change things seems to be more difficult for people because our default is just to come up with reasons to quit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. And I like how you said it's actually only up to us to make the change. We can't change anyone else, and no one can actually change us. We are who we are. And it's like once you do an accomplishment, I felt so great. I mean, I've just been rejoicing for like 6, 8 months, just the fact to finish it. I didn't even put a bio. I was just like, I'm finished. And it was like, well, what's the next thing I can do now? And, one thing always leads to another. And I think that's just, yeah, I think we have to own it. Like, it's no one's fault. And I also believe, parallel to that, is that it's also come out at just the right time.
Yeah.
It's a time. So there's that weighing out, like trusting the divine timing of everything. But we need to do action. And what else? Like for myself, I was like, what else? Where else do I do this in my life?
Yeah.
What am I stopping myself from really doing? That kind of thing. But it is only me, and the responsibility of it is only me,
Yeah.
as for all of us. Like,
Yeah.
and just making that change and taking a step.
Yeah. And how do you work out what it is? Because we can be so busy, can't we? Just caught up, sometimes deliberately so, I guess. Just caught up in the day-to-day thing of living our lives. So busy that how can we then think, actually, what is my next biggest thing that I've got to do now that I've actually got the confidence. I've published a book. Woohoo! So now I've got the confidence I can do something. How do we then get to find out the truth of what it is next when we're so busy being caught up with busy?
Well, myself personally, I tend to, it seems in my little pattern, I have many things on the go. And my dad, bless him, died in 2014, and my son does the same. He's like, finish one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Make a list, even if it's 3 things for that day. So this is messages to myself. Do one thing at a time, finish that, and then you've got time for the next thing and the next thing, because I seem to have like an array of things all the time going on. So what do you prioritize? What do we want? Like I want to live love, and I want to share things that I've learned along the way through my counseling, just through my life, through raising my kids, through being with people. We're all so amazing and unique, and yet it's like same shit, different pile. We have
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
a similar theme, so a different context or a story around it. So when we can talk and share these things, like, wow, I did that too. Because I think we all go through things and don't necessarily share them, like the harder struggles or the,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
really mad at myself because I haven't done this, but how come they're always, able to accomplish, but we don't know each other's inner dialogue until we converse.
Yeah, and that's interesting as well, isn't it? That we don't necessarily share that vulnerability
Mhm.
and how we've overcome it, possibly again through fear of what other people will say, but without realizing that other people would benefit from it.
Mhm. Really wise woman I know once said that it's not fair to not share it with the world.
Exactly,
That
exactly.
wise
Mm,
woman
mm,
named
mm,
Roz Jones,
mm.
yes.
Precisely. So tell us a bit more about the story of Prince Edak and the snail. So you've told us how it happened when the snail came into your house and your gorgeous son just let it creep onto his hand. What's the moral of the story? What will people get out of it? Because it looks like a child's book, but I've read it and I can see that it's relevant for everybody. So what's the key message, Amber, that you
Well,
think people
the
will get
key
from it?
message, so the snail itself that I drew, he looks like every other snail. Like we all are just humans, we all kind of, look like. But he had a rainbow trail where all the other snails had beautiful silver trails. So he was that little bit different. He was a snail that was like being willing to adventure elsewhere, and he was always himself. So he'd play with on a buoy or climb a tree or be on a rock. And the other snails are like, they didn't do that. He wasn't afraid of humans, this one. So it was that thing about just being different. But why would if you have a group of friends and these snails are like, oh, don't do that. And then you can play with us. And he's like, what? I'm always me. Sort of, we are who we are in every situation. And does that make sense? Oh, so, and then, yeah, it goes to like, just he wasn't sad or upset because his parents had taught him about, just as long as you do no harm. And so he did. And he just wanted to go out there and explore. And he was a little adventurer and, wanted to see the world, this little snail. And then he found others who also were the
Ah,
same, who had also different colored trails. And, we get what we receive. What we put out, our thoughts and our feelings will attract the same things back to us. And that's kind of this now. So just
ah,
shine bright, shine true.
yeah.
Expect to find others who shine their light too.
Love that. And I think, that it is, as you said about divine timing, because these days you do feel that there's a lot of pressure, particularly on younger people, I'm guessing, through social media and friendship groups about fitting in and not standing out and just going along with the crowd. What do you think?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I think this time is, different from, well, when we grew up before any of this technology. And I also feel through schooling, education, through society, we're shown movies and magazines and music videos and this and that. And it's all about looking outside of ourselves. And it's this external location. Oh, if only I was more like that or like this, rather than having who we are being nurtured from children. What do you like? What are your hobbies? What are this? And acknowledging, accepting, and encouraging each other, because none of us are the same. We're not meant to be the same. So yeah, I really feel for the kids today in a way that is different than we've ever had, and just for parents to hold that space around their kids and sort of teach boundaries and me, not me. And just because, Susie or Johnny's doing that, that's okay. That's who they are. Like, who are you? How do we want to express yourself? And just, allowing us to be who we are.
And I love that. I have a client whose kids are different from the kids in their class. And the teachers don't really know how to respond to that difference. And so it's like at school, and if you don't fit in with the general mold of however other people are behaving and come across, then you are made to feel. I mean, this kid's been suspended loads of times because it doesn't actually conform to how they want them to behave.
I think that's the word, conform. Yeah.
And is that why you did homeschooling?
It is a big part of it. Well, I didn't think I'd be in the UK this long. I'm still here. My kids are both gone now. And just the levels of consciousness, like under 7 is this formative years. And I think when we go, all of us, went to school, and you are, just like you say, you're taught to conform. We sort of learn these sort of rules of school. We shut things down in ourselves. We kind of maybe do things we don't want to do, or we're almost taught to lie. How are you today? Oh, I'm good. I'm fine. And maybe you're not, but there's not a space to share. Oh, I had I tripped this morning and hurt my knee. Or so, for homeschooling, just the levels of consciousness and awareness. And I find in the UK, kids start school really early here. And I'm like, wow, we should be napping till 6. And just, allowing the children, if there could be a system where like they know what things are, like what they excel at. I think there's basic things we need to learn, like reading, writing, arithmetics, but there's so many ways of learning. We don't all learn the same way. There's so many ways of teaching. And I myself didn't realize I was an experimental learner until I was older. And some people can grasp me by reading, some need to be doing. So everyone's different. And so I think we are taught in school to conform, and we're sacrificing ourselves. So maybe going back to the beginning, maybe that's why I had such a long time, or many of us, in crossing a finish line, because we don't want to stand out. You don't want to this. You want to just go in that general mold and follow along and do things society tells us to do. And it goes against us. And at some level, there'll be a health risk. There'll be a cost to it.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And the thing about schools, basically, I think there needs to be a real revolution in schools. But not only are they made to conform, but you are taught this very outdated curriculum, aren't we? With things that really aren't that much use in life. And so that's a whole nother subject, I guess. But
absolutely.
it is again about taking ownership and how much can we do that. And I love the fact that you were strong enough to do that. You felt passionate enough about it, because those years are so formative, aren't they? Because so much damage can be done.
And for myself, like, I also see things I think I'm a simpleton and see things energetically. And I always, my whole life, there's either positive or negative, love or fear, faith or doubt. So it's always making a choice. Like, love is a verb, and love is an action. So the most loving thing for me was the way I raised my kids, and the way I am as a counselor, the way just like it's love or fear in every situation. And just that's been sort of what I've been doing and trying to live by for definitely 30 years, but after making loads of mistakes and things. And it's a process. In every moment we can choose love. And I think that conditioning of school, like you said, again, we're led by fear, and we're taught through fear, and maybe unconsciously. I don't know that it's a nefarious plan or something, but it seems to be. People are afraid and don't know themselves anymore, but there's that thing inside us that's always trying to come out, be it, you have an injury, so you have to not do anything but be with yourself, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. So I love the idea that you've got a choice. You can choose love or you can choose fear. And surely everybody's going to choose love every time.
We'd like to think so, and it brings up fear, but the more you choose it, and you're choosing in yourself, like, to me, truth is also simple. And that physical experience, when they say like completion is neutral, or when something feels right, you're settled inside. But when something's maybe not quite aligned to you, there's that feeling, and this is not really 100% what I want to do, but I have to. But do you have to? Or are you going to be brave enough to choose love? And then obviously, whatever a choice leads to something else, regardless what path you take, a path will appear. Are we going to make things easier or harder for ourselves? I made things harder for myself a lot.
I love the fact that you went on that learning experience, learning all those skills, especially with the illustration. Where do people find the book, Amber?
So you can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be on Waterstones, but I don't know that it's on there yet. Authorhouse.com in the bookstore. I'm setting up a website, amberlinap.com.
Excellent.
And I hopefully will be selling them on there, maybe do a bit of blogging. And yeah.
And that's where the next book will go, I'm sure.
And that's for my daughter's drawing that one.
Okay.
That one's called Sirach the Bold.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, so, well, we can't wait to see that. It's been an absolute delight and pleasure to have you on our podcast today, Amber. But before I let you go, I would like to ask you this. I haven't warned you about this, but my question is, what one piece of advice would you give to anybody listening to this podcast?
I would say never give up on yourself. You matter. Everyone matters. Your life is important. You are unique. You are special. You have your own divine light shining, and we need you in the world.
I love that. That's a splendid note to finish on. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Roz.